Hi friends, my name is Ludmil and I'm DevRel contributor at Nearblocks. I would like to welcome you to the Tools community call. If you haven't attended one yet, those are informal sessions where we share updates, discuss and present tooling projects from the ecosystem. If you want to get involved, reach out in our Telegram group. You can see the recordings of full previous sessions on DevHub's YouTube channel. Today, we're joined by Yuval from Lavanet, Luke from Nearblocks, Morgan from Okashi, and last but never least, Fro. I am quite happy to see other familiar faces. We see that Vladimir is here. We see Zahid as well. I'm very happy to see you all here. So in today's agenda, we would start on with Yuval. And Yuval will be providing us with a little bit of updates and stats from Lavanet. So Yuval, if you're ready.
Yeah, hey everyone. Really good to be here again, finally, after a long break. I promise I'll try to join every call from now, but no high expectations after the hiatus. So if there's anybody I didn't meet here yet, I'm Yuval. I'm leading BD at Magma.xyz. Magma.xyz is a contributor to Lava Network. Somebody already raised their hand. If you want to ask a question.
Yeah, finish your presentation and that would be...
Oh, all good. Sound good. So we are a contributor to Lava Network. And Lava Network is a data access layer. So we provide highly reliable, performant RPC and API access. I'm not going to go into all of the mumbo jumbo. I just want to give you guys a quick update. We've had really amazing progress within the Near ecosystem. We've been supporting Near since February, so over half a year now, and we're seeing really cool adoption. So I'm going to show you some cool things we've been working on. Let's go for it. So a few updates on the growth side. We really had some really amazing dApp adoption. dApps like Refinance, Borrow, Bit, Meta Wallet, and a bunch of other dApps are now using Lava. I'll go for the full list in a few slides. We're also supporting Pagoda on the backend. So essentially, the main official RPC endpoint powered by Pagoda is routing traffic to our endpoint in the backend. And we're, as of, I think it was measured last week, we were supporting 50% of their public RPC endpoint. I'm sure you're all aware that Pagoda is eventually going to sunset that endpoint in a few months. So that has been kind of part of our preparation, working together with Pagoda to make sure that we're able to support a lot of their current traffic. A few other really cool stuff that we've been working on. So just to give you some context, Lava is a network of providers. We're not, we're not running any nodes ourselves. We are not like a single data provider. We have a network of data providers, including the top of the top in the ecosystem. All that Node is Liquify, and a bunch of really talented teams working in the backend. And that allows for a lot of cool features. Some of them are really new that we just launched. So for example, automatic retry that we introduced last month allows you to have a lot more higher success rate for queries. So let's say you're trying to send a query and you get a shard ID error, but then Lava retries automatically with another provider. So the chances of that query going and succeeding is a lot higher with Lava rather than working with a specific single data provider. Also, when you send a transaction, Lava sends that transaction to at least 10 providers at the same time. So this really, one, makes it faster and also increases the success rate of any transaction that you're sending through Lava rather than other providers. That's also a really cool feature. We have a new dashboard coming up. I'll show you in a few minutes, and we have a lot of new archive nodes that has been spun up over the last few weeks. So some stats. This is a new statistic that we added. We can now see how many unique daily users are actually interacting with our endpoint. So we just measured today 216K daily unique users on our public endpoint, which is amazing. Over the last month, we had almost 10 billion requests. As I said, we're serving half of Pagoda's public RPC endpoint. And no, that's only for Near RPC. We have other ecosystem. We're multi-chain, but that's only the stat for Near. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm happy as well. And 30% of those requests are served by the cache mechanism that we have. We also really improved it recently. We have a double caching mechanism. Won't go into that, but it's really cool and it's really effective. We have 70 providers currently active. 6 of them are providing archive. And archive, as you know, Near archive is super heavy, so bravo to them for spinning it up. So I think, it's fair to say that Lava is becoming the go-to RPC provider for users and developers in the ecosystem. As I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of adoption by Pagoda, Refinance, Borrow, Bite, mixed Meteor and Bite. Bite, Meteor, Allstake joined us yesterday. Borrow announced yesterday. Today, Near Mobile is using us, and all of the cool guys you can see on the list, and there are more. And we're working on a few cool partnerships that hopefully will be live soon. So we're very happy. We're working with all of these partners together to really improve the service. Whenever they have any issues, we try to solve them ASAP. We have a really cool dashboard that's coming up that's going to allow a lot more transparency for people in the ecosystem. So anybody will be able to go to this page and see exactly what's happening. So you can see here the amount of the requests in the last day. You can see how many users. You can see the average latency in the last 24 hours. How many requests, blah, blah, blah. How many cached requests. This is a new page. It's not live yet. It's going to be live hopefully very soon. You can see also the type of queries that are most popular. So, for example, these are type of queries that we can see how, if we see like a certain type of queries are super popular, we can add them to the cache. So to make things even more efficient. And you can also see like the live map of queries coming from different geolocation, which should give us and everybody like a sense of, okay, where is traffic actually coming from? If we need more support in a specific geolocation, etc. When the stripe 3D, I'm not sure what that means. I'll just go to the last slide. Some stuff that we're working on. We just launched our own mainnet, so we are working with the infra committee on issuing a new grant for Lava RPC incentives. Once that's over, we plan to deploy those incentives on Lava's mainnet, which is really cool. It's essentially an automatic mechanism that pays RPC providers according to the quality of their service and how much service they provide. So Near will deploy Near tokens on Lava's chain, and then providers, anyone can join. It's permissionless. Anyone can compete over quality of service. Whoever provides the best service essentially wins more rewards. So that's, we see Near as, our main, most important partner. We're working together with many people in the ecosystem. So we're trying to prioritize Near to be one of the first chains on our mainnet. Hopefully it's going to happen very soon. We're working with dApps to maximize the UX. We're working on better archive, adding more providers like Liquify, Notice, etc. And we're also working on a proposal for advanced APIs. So maybe some of the APIs that Pagoda is currently, stopping work or they're stopping to support those APIs, we might pick them up and support them via Lava. And one thing that's missing here, I know Vic from Near Foundation is working on a bridge between Near and Cosmos chains via the IBC protocol. And so once that's ready, essentially Lava and Near will be connected, and we're planning to work with Ref and Borrow and all of those cool guys to allow essentially Lava liquidity to be available to the Near community, which I think is really cool because we really feel that the Near and Lava communities are like very close. And yeah, I think I spoke enough. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to also connect with anyone that I'm not already connected to after this call. So thank you.
Amazing. This huge growth, and I assume this is not only from
Thank you, Morgan.
and the rest of the guys. Congratulate you, and not only you, but like the entire team, because I'm pretty sure that there is a lot going into it, not only from the business development side of things. So yeah, thanks a lot, Yuval, for joining and sharing some updates with us. Do we have?
Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, and then I might have to jump. I have another community call I'm going to.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, busy bee. Anyway, that's then. Well, if there is any questions or if you want to ping Yuval, you can see his Telegram handle. He's active on Telegram, so you can reach him out. Thanks a lot, Yuval.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to put my Telegram handle here. And let me know if you want to get in touch. Ciao.
Next on today's agenda, we have Luke from Nearblocks, the go-to explorer for block explorer for the Near ecosystem. And I believe that Luke also has a presentation that he would be showing us.
Yep.
Luke?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes. Great to have you around, man.
So a few updates from our side. So we have some recent updates, what we're currently working on, and then any ideas maybe that we can talk with the community about. So Andrew's compiled some updates for us. So we have 2 new wallet integrations. One is with BitWallet. The second one is with MetaMask with the upcoming NEP release. So these are already accessible on the UI if you wanted to connect your wallet, check out code and stuff like that. In terms of contracts, so we have the NEP free 30, where you can check out metadata and source code validation. You can compile that with Cargo Near. So we've I think it was a few weeks ago we had a discussion with SourceScan, and they provided the means for us to integrate. So actually, let me just share this presentation as well if you guys want to. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Because there's a few links you can click. But yeah, as you can see here on an NEP free 30 contract, we have this UI now where you can compile everything. Put the build command here. The UI is still, might make some edits, but everything is here. So this is with SourceScan that we did this, which is pretty cool. Besides that, we have revamped our APIs, and there's a new pricing model which is a bit more accessible, and we've also released advertising options. So we do have around, over the past couple of months on average, around 1 million monthly users and 3 million page views. So we want to give this access to the ecosystem. It's self-service as of now, and basically there's several options where you can either put banners or text, etc. We don't have any clients yet, but we do want to onboard a few so we can get some feedback. We'll be adding banners across the website I think this week. But yeah, essentially, it's a shame that up to now we couldn't, I guess, give this kind of exposure to projects on Near. It's obviously a website that a lot of people visit, probably the most visited website in the Near ecosystem. We have a lot of registered users as well that create their accounts and stuff. So we're also thinking of sending out a few newsletters, and that can be that's also opportunity for exposure. But yeah, 3 million page views is pretty big for us, and yeah, we want to be able to give this to to projects in the Near ecosystem. Besides that, we have a new chart, which is basically cutting up transactions per second amongst the different shards that are available. So again, open to feedback on how this is presented, but you can basically eliminate shards and check and leave and stuff like that. There's also, I don't know if you guys know about this section, but there is quite a few charts that are available here in this section. So again, it's good to see. We can look at the price one. But yeah, the daily transaction chart. It's obviously interesting. There's a log view as well. So yeah, this is maybe stuff that we don't necessarily talk about quite a lot, but there's ongoing features that are coming up, and the shard view on transaction is one of the latest. Besides that, we have moved Nearblocks off of Boss. We were I think we were one of the, maybe in terms of infrastructure, maybe one of the first or the small handful of projects that moved onto Boss. It was a lot of work, but the team is quite happy. Well, it's obviously easier for them just to work on without Boss, so we've moved back to it, and the results in terms of speed in general are just way better. So yeah, that transition has happened back to moving forward without Boss. This is something that we haven't talked about too much as well, but we do have a light version of Nearblocks that's live now. So for example, it's pretty good just to check transactions. If, for example, you're transferring funds and you just want to send a link for the person to verify that transactions are sent, they can just send a link like this because you don't have all the maybe unnecessary data for retail users. This is we offer the various RPCs here as well. So maybe talking to Lavanet and push this up. But yeah, this is fully available. It's live. It's also accessible from the Explorer selector that we just redesigned. So it currently looks like this. You have Nearblocks Lite, Nearblocks, and obviously PikeSpeak as well. For when users want to, if for example the dApp doesn't link towards one of these directly, but towards the main Explorer or the quote unquote official Explorer, they can select here. We set up monitoring as well. So there's a few more stats to add in here, but basically it's a good check for uptime. I think it's been live since end of July, but so far so good. 100% uptime. And we were previously talking to Vic as well over the past weeks. He wanted to get an update in terms of feature parity between the various explorers and I guess analytics tools. So we have one here against GetBlock. This is a list of the features that are available on web, but also API. GetBlock doesn't have an API, but yeah, you can see all of these various features that are available on Nearblocks. And then also with PikeSpeak, similar. All of this on web, and then API as well. So we're quite happy. I would say within the Near ecosystem, we're leading the front on features. We are obviously always looking for new features, taking community feedback, seeing what's good for developers, what's good for retail, and also referencing other ecosystems. Would it be the Ethereum ecosystem with Etherscan, but also the Solana ecosystem with, I think they have Birdseye, SoulScan, etc. Quite a few products. So we're quite lucky to be able to be inspired by other ecosystems. So there's a continuous roadmap of features. That's for the recent updates. In terms of what's in the works, we're working on DEX analytics. So we'll be able to look at specific trades, liquidity across DEXs. We are in discussions. We just had a call earlier today, actually, with Aurora to see what's possible. Is it either taking over their Explorer or working on better integration for cross-chain transactions, etc. We want to talk a bit more about Nearblocks as well on social media. We obviously have access to all of these statistics and data, so we want to be able to start posting about that, but also feature updates, because we're starting to realize that there's a lot of features on Nearblocks that people are not necessarily aware of. So better communicating from our side, setting up a social media plan for Twitter, and hoping for support like from Nearweek, even you guys at the Dev Hub. That would be great. So once we post stuff, we'll share it in our groups. Then hoping to get a bit more exposure there. We will be outreaching to various projects as well across the network, especially for those that are on the B2C side for advertising across Nearblocks. And we have an ongoing request for infrastructure funding, because our storage size is pretty crazy, and we're trying to check in on finances to see what's possible there. In terms of open for ideas, we still are looking for local translators to get Nearblocks translated into local languages. We initially set up, I think, 12 to 15 languages, but some of them aren't necessarily translated very well. We're trying to target the countries that have most users based off Google Analytics. And the ideal for us is to find a local translator in each country to get the website localized. And again, open for any ideas, suggestions, would it be now or on Telegram? We have groups with all you guys, I think. Some of you talk to Andrew as well, so always open for discussion. That's it from me, from Nearblocks.
Thanks a lot. First of all,
is data storage database.
So there is a question: how big is the Nearblock database storage requirement? Just curious.
We actually wrote it down. Wait a sec. I'll check in with Andrew, but currently, I think it's 12 terabytes.
Oh, wow. And
but because with like testnet and then backups, I think the total right now is 22 terabytes.
Total is 22 terabytes.
But again, don't quote me on that. It's a lot. It's big. Andrew has the exact numbers. I'll get them to throw on the chat when he wakes up tomorrow morning.
Amazing. And second question we have: how big is the team at Nearblocks? You guys seem to have a lot on your plate, growing every minute. So
there's 6 of us.
6.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great work. Yeah. I just quickly want to highlight, like, first of all, I did, and it's not only me, but like a lot of people noticed that they are like that Nearblock got like very fast. And so I just want to quickly highlight this, because I'm not quite sure that like for the people who haven't been following Nearblocks and the history of Near, is that now, thanks to SourceScan, we have reproducible builds. And at the moment, if we browse to the contract addresses that have been built with Cargo.Near and the latest tooling and SDK, we can actually look at the source code. So this is pretty huge because users can now verify of like what is the actual contract that they are interacting with. And so other ecosystems have had this for a while. Some ecosystems are yet to have that, but we do. And it's amazing. And I would like to, it's been an effort that's been going for quite a while. And this is huge news. And thanks a lot for everybody who actually made that possible. Speaking of which, one of the contributors is around, Canvi ETH or Andrei Gruzdev. This is a bit like off the agenda, Andrei, but if you have a minute to talk a little bit about what would be next for SourceScan, that would be amazing to hear. And like, because a huge portion of the work has been done and it's here already, but what would be next?
Yeah, thank you for highlighting this. So basically, as you can see also in this UI, we have verified one of one and like the verifier contract. In the future, we think it would be great to have different sources of verification. So for example, we would have like 3-4 trusted verifiers, and actually to make sure that these verifiers are behaving not as a bad actors, it would be great to have like several people running these verifiers. Also, we would introduce the testnet verification, because right now we only have indexer for mainnet. And it would be possible to verify the smart contract manually, not only using the indexer, if you want to verify it immediately, because sometimes it would take some time. It would take time for indexer to catch the action, then verify, and then update the smart contract. So this is what we have in upcoming future.
Amazing, great. And just to clarify, I'm curious actually, like what would be the requirements for somebody to become a verifier? Like, would it be more of a hardware requirement, or would it be like more of KYC and like it should be a trusted person? On how does that work? And how can somebody get involved?
This is still like an idea, so it would need to be refined. So we don't yet know like the requirements to be the verifier, but you don't actually have to. You don't need a lot of hardware to be a verifier.
Nice. That's amazing. Thanks again for the amazing work. It's really like a huge step forward for the entire ecosystem, not only for now, but for the foreseeable future. So thanks a lot, Andrei, for the way that the great work that you have done, you and your team. So, and yeah, by the way, Luke, sorry for bouncing around, but is there a testnet version of the Nearblocks Lite?
Yep.
Amazing. That's great. Okay. Next to the agenda, we're happy to have Morgan Wild with Okashi.dev. Last month, he quickly gave updates as he just popped into the call, which was super amazing to have you around. So this time with a little bit more updates on what Okashi has been up to.
Thanks for the intro. Let me see if I can share my screen. It's always a nice exercise. Let me know if and when you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Cool. So hey everyone, my name is Morgan. I'm from Okashi, the developer tool for Rust developers getting started on blockchain, or just people getting started on blockchain using Rust. Keyword being Rust. And so this is the current build, and I'll show you what the problem is and iterate over the journey here. So this is an editor that compiles your contract for a specific environment that's not currently supporting Near. We can talk about that at the end of the talk. And then you get some output. So here's a contract, you compile it, you get some buttons in the contract widget. After the compiler is done, click the button, it calls, and then that executes in the browser. That's cool, but as a developer, if you want to write something, let's say you want U8 and then checked add, right? For the devs in there, you'll notice that nothing came up. There's no autocomplete, right? And even though you know the method, or you might know what to type, the arguments or whatever, that's still a very unnatural experience. And to go to the natural experience, VS Code, right? That's always the editor of choice. And we've had issues where folks sort of just copy and paste stuff from VS Code into Okashi, compile it, and interact with it there. But then that introduces, your tool requires another tool to be useful. So we really wanted to change that, and bringing in the VS Code experience. And how does that experience look? Well, I'll start typing, right? And you get this beautiful sort of drop down, right, with these options. And we thought, that's cool, let's implement that. And I won't bother you with all the details, but just sort of big picture, VS Code integrates the Rust analyzer. Rust analyzer is like a process that runs in the background and analyzes your Rust, and then provides all kinds of utilities, communicating with the VS Code editor using the language server protocol, or LSP for short. And so, yeah, Rust analyzer does its job, and then it spits out these autocomplete. So we figured, let's integrate, let's do what VS Code did. And eventually we got to that point where we're sort of replicating the experience, but we noticed something. And I want to share exactly what we noticed. So let's say we want to grab a method from unsigned int 8, and we want to, let's say, do from big endian bytes. Now, if you were to look more closely into this, and we always look closely, I can't avoid but not seeing this, and let me know if anyone sees a problem. Yeah, no Zed. Let me see who's paying attention. Is there a problem in the documentation section here? Anyone see any issues? Well, I guess you're so conditioned to VS Code, you don't see that. But if you were to look at the signature here, which is a constant function, you'll notice that there's whatever this is in the array length, which is not valid Rust, and the whole signature seems suspicious. And then you go down into the documentation, you'll notice that there's examples, and then there's this example. That's not a valid Rust example, right? And obviously that's not. We can look up in the Rust docs, U8 from B bytes. Let's see what it says. From B bytes, right? So we can see that in the docs. Let me just blow it up a little bit. In the docs, we have create native endian, blah, blah, blah. We have one example, and we have two examples, and a full function in here. What does VS Code give us? VS Code gives us no example up at the top here, and like a partial example over here. Yeah, so Vlad doesn't use that UI, but a lot of beginners rely on this UI because that's sort of where they get their intuitions. That's where they get their stuff. And so this was the start of a journey into the belly of REST Analyzer, because it turns out this is not just VS Code. This goes all the way down to REST Analyzer, and it's a thing that affects almost the entirety of the standard library, and any Rust documentation that is relying on more complex macros. And so that's unavailable. That's just unavailable. There's no fix. And that's just the way it is. But we really didn't like that. And we started looking for a fix. Now that's silly, right? But turns out you can do something about it. So this is now a local build of Okashi, not shipped, and you can see the typing now creates some sort of autocomplete, right? And there's some docs in there. So let's go to U8, and then let's see that from B bytes. You'll notice that the signature includes the proper name, the proper array size. The docs have 2 examples. The first example that was missing entirely. And a second example that's not just input equals rest in a close bracket, but the whole function body as displayed in the REST documentation as well. So that's what we're working on. This is very much a laborious process of indexing and analyzing and converting from the REST Analyzer semantics down to the documentation and back. But we feel like this is critical. This is critical for anyone that's a beginner getting into Rust to be able to get at and understand what they're writing, because eventually we want them to write smart contracts, and smart contracts deal with money and value. And we want to grow a lot of qualified, good Rust developers. And for that, they need good inputs and good docs, and for that to be accessible within the tool that they use. So that's sort of the journey of just, adding autocompletion is not just adding autocompletion, because the current autocompletion for Rust is broken in several senses that are very, very important to your average dev, to the dev that we want to onboard. Just to repeat for anyone that isn't familiar with Okashi, our mission is to onboard millions of developers to blockchain, and do that using Rust. And so for that to be true, and for that to be possible, we need really solid tooling, and autocomplete plus the integrated docs is very, very important. So that's probably going to be shipping this week, a version of this, shipping this week. And since Okashi is not just Rust, it's also blockchain. We do want to enable Near as our second blockchain that we support in the environments by the end of this year, and hopefully with Near's help, we can make that happen. So the roadmap for right now is fleshing out the Rust developer experience. So just having the best tool for the top of the funnel Rust developer to get started, get their feet wet, and then transition that top of the funnel to an environment for a blockchain that you want to build smart contracts for. That's the update. I hope I didn't meander for too long.
No, that's amazing. I have a question. You like the error, like the problem that you showed, and you said that this is across the Rust, the entire Rust documentation. Does that include this includes like even third-party crates and like absolutely everything, or is it solely for the main docs?
Well, I can't confirm specific crates, but I can say that any Rust doc that uses macros can be affected. And a lot of Rust crates use Rust docs with macros. So to be specific, I would have to go through and look at the crate, but this problem is pretty endemic, and it's been noted in the Rust Analyzer repos, and I've submitted issues myself and sort of engaged in that conversation. But it's something that is so deep that they can't easily fix that, and thus that requires sort of a secondary loop on the client side, which we're doing with Okashi to link it up with the proper documentation. And this is also enabled by the JSON Rust docs, which is still fairly fresh as a standard, and the Rust doc standard is HTML, right? And that's not something that is easy to parse. But yeah, this is pretty endemic as a problem.
Yeah, and so do I stand correct? Like, how did you tackle it? Like, do you you mentioned that you're indexing the docs, but are you scraping them, or you're just parsing the markdown files and then trying to link it somehow to link it to the actual command that person is
right?
typing?
So we generate JSON Rust docs.
Okay.
So there's no need to scrape. The data is there, but the data is organized in a way that is not really accessible to anything that Rust Analyzer gives us. So there's a lot of glue in between, and a secondary indexing that needs to happen. So there's quite a pipeline to join up the Rust Analyzer semantic analysis to the documentation that's correct. And that glue is happening on the client side with Okashi.
Amazing. It's very funny how like a project that starts from like the very sides of something that it went from completely different direction, gets to contribute and to find errors that have been there for like probably years, and they're so deep, rooted into the like an entire language. So this is crazy. And so I assume that as when we're talking about top-down devs, like currently focusing, what you're trying to achieve is actually help bringing the Rust Analyzer for the Rust developers. I assume that would the next step, because you are supporting Soroban, correct? So
yes, we're supporting two environments right now, which basic Rust, which we execute Rust applications in the browser, and then the Soroban environment, which is a Stellar blockchain VM, like also executing within the browser. So the idea was, ever since Denver, to get to a point where we can add Near to the supported blockchains. But we really wanted to get the Rust separation so that there's a single funnel. We don't want to be like different products for different chains. We want to be a single sort of tool. And to do that, we needed the Rust umbrella. And for Rust to be good for a brand new sort of newbie dev getting into it, well, we need to solve some of these problems.
Yeah, that's amazing, and like all due respect for not trying to jump in on like every wagon and like have support of something, but having a solid foundation. Because what you're undertaking, it's pretty hard. Like, and we see that there are some projects into the same space from like other ecosystems, and they have huge financial support, huge teams, and like it's crazy amount of work to get
Sure.
them to be
2
stable.
people.
Yeah, so it's amazing that, and it's very good. I congratulate you on that, of like not trying to support everything out of the box, lay a good solid foundation, and then build on top of it. Yes, of course, it takes time and a lot of effort, but I think that even if slow, but like some progress and a solid foundation, I think it's key. So I'm happy to see that you're progressing and you're pushing forward, and happy to see that. You are still interested, and you are interested into helping out the Near ecosystem as well. So
Absolutely.
we are very happy that we have you around.
Thank
We have a question. How can we help? So what would be the steps for like getting this to Near? Would it be like only financial support, or there would be like need, or there is possibilities for people to contribute to Okashi?
So, yeah, besides the financial support, there's the question of integrating cargo near, or rather, trying to do things without cargo near that equal cargo near. And that's just because we want to have a pipeline that works with, just compiling with Rust C. Otherwise, we would sort of have to, have very tailored solutions in the. There's 2 services, right? Behind Okashi. One is the compiler service, and the other one's the analyzer service. And right now, we're thinking that if we can find a solution to, replicating cargo near with just cargo and Rust C, then we could have just a singular compiler service and not having to duplicate efforts there. So help in that regard, in the technical sense, would be interesting, because I remember things like generating the ABI was a thing that was only possible with cargo near, and I would love for there to be an option to have that sort of product being generated with just a cargo or just a compiler. But again, those are sort of the more technical discussions that we can sort of come up with. The pain points, concrete things, and but yeah, there's some of them because it's a highly technical product.
Yeah, amazing. I would feel free to reach me out or any of my colleagues of like regarding any technical issues, and we will try to match you up with the right people to talk with. So yeah, thanks a lot for your presentation. Do we have any other questions for Okashi? I guess not. All right then. So that's it for today. Thank you all for being here. Once again, if you want to present your work, suggest discussion topics, or you want to get involved in our join our Telegram group, or visit the tools community page on neardevhub.org. You can find us. You can find us and the project that presented today on Telegram, and links to the projects and the slides would be in the description down below. See you next month, every second Tuesday of the month. So see you on the next one. Thank you very much.